Good afternoon, this is Colton from Shout Out here in NostalgiaCon in Salt Lake City, and we have a great special guest here today.
Hi, I'm Ben Disken. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. We're hoping that you can help us out here with some of the beginners who are going into voice acting, and maybe give us an inside opinion.
Okay, yeah, so let's see. So we're talking about kids getting into voice acting?
Yeah, exactly. We kind of want to help the younger generations, like the high schoolers and perhaps middle schoolers, or maybe even the people who are in college, to kind of help them proceed and kind of shape them into that right directions. I think a great way to kind of start out is, I know some people are stressing out is, should I get coaching? Should I not get coaching? Yeah. Should I get a mentor? Should I not get a mentor? Should I go to school? Should I not go to school? Things like that starts crossing in their minds. What do you think about that?
Okay, well, let's see. So first of all, I would say in voiceover, if you're going to do any other kind of acting to really prepare you for this, theater is probably where you should start. It's the most accessible because it's local, so you don't have to worry about competition from the entire world. And also, it gets you very used to projecting and playing characters that are bigger than yourself. On camera, for instance, is very, there's a microphone right offside, like right outside of the frame, and everything is really just right here. You talk like this, and very, very subtle facial expressions. But like, if you do that for animation, nobody can tell what you're trying to put out there. So like, stage play is very big and broad, and so you get used to pushing yourself out there, getting out of your comfort zone. So it's a really solid place to start. So yeah, if you ever want to figure out what's the best training for this that isn't voiceover, I would say theater is a great place.
Oh, excellent. And I do know that some people come across of, trying to get into that routine, that rhythm. What are some of the routines or strategies that you've kind of done to kind of help you out get into that specific character?
Oh, gosh. That's a great question. I have a poor answer for it. My answer is that I just I just zone out and I go, whoever this character is, that's who's taking up my energy and my focus. So like, I'm not thinking about myself. Some people will try to figure out how to put themselves into a character. I'm the opposite way. I try to pull myself out and throw myself out, and I go, no. You're playing an immortal who has vampire fangs. You don't relate to this guy, so stop trying to. You're just going to make sure this character comes to life in whatever is genuine for him. So that's kind of how I approach pretty much all the characters.
Oh, that's great. And one of the things that people sometimes come across is, strep throats and things that goes on with their issues with their throat. What are some of the things that kind of help you in those situations?
Two things. Hydrate. Hydrate or dihydrate, as they say. It means basically drink a ton of water. I also drink a ton of coffee, which is not actually good for you. That dehydrates you. But I balance it out by guzzling water the entire time. The other thing is warm up a little bit. You don't have to do anything crazy. Just usually like about 3 minutes of just like humming to yourself is very helpful because you're kind of helping align your vocal cords and warming everything up. So a lot of get past that vocal break. That's that sound over and over and over again. About 3 minutes, and that's usually enough. You don't have to kill yourself.
Okay. I'm assuming you've also tried to get that applied when you're getting into the characters, and there are also challenges where maybe you're doing a project where there are multiple characters. Have you ever had an opportunity where you had to do multiple characters, and if so, how do you go from one character to the other character?
Yeah, I was Numbuh 1 and Numbuh 2 on a show called Codename Kids Next Door. So there are two characters and they play off of each other constantly. When we recorded that, you would have to switch from one to the other. We weren't just doing like one passes one character and another passes the other. And you just you get used to it, you compartmentalize. So you can have them talking to each other and it feels like two separate characters because they are two separate characters, right? So while one is saying something, you want to picture what the other one is how the other one is reacting to that line. So that way it feels like it's two different people. You look like a lunatic when you're doing this live because you look like somebody with like massive schizophrenia is the wrong psychological disorder, but you know what I mean. Like you have two different people living in your head, taking turns piloting your brain. But yeah, it's helpful to just kind of like make sure that they stay separate in your own mind. They have their own little cubby holes, and they peek out and they deliver their lines to each other from across the way.
Okay, that sounds actually quite challenging. It must have taken some time to kind of get used to things like that.
Oh, no, not at all. I'm insane. I have so many mental problems. It's easy.
One of the also things that we kind of look into is people are thinking about networking. You know, they think that that's very, very important in this type of career, and they're trying to figure out, well, how am I going to approach and how am I going to do that? How do I get started? Do you have any recommendations regarding that?
Yes, so here's the deal. It's not who you know, it's who knows you. And that sounds like, well, that's the same thing. It's not. What it means is, it's all about who you know, implies if you just kiss the right pair of butt cheeks, you're in. And that almost never works. It's more about who can tell that you're a real actor, who can tell that you really care about what you're doing, because they'll recognize that talent and they'll go, you know what, that guy was really good in this other role. It was a small little thing we had him in for. Let's have him in for a bigger project, because like they can tell that you're good. So really, be a personable person, be nice, but you don't have to like network in the sense of like, here's my business card. People throw those things away. Here's my demo reel on CD. People throw those things away. So like, it's honestly, it's all about being a decent human being. If you can do that, that's the best kind of networking.
Oh, excellent. And just the following question with that is, of course, the agencies, right? Some use them and some don't use them. Do you think it's something that's important of using depending on who you're contracted with, or is it more in regarding to of your personal feeling that this is how I'm going to get out there? What do you think is a good time to start an agency, or if you should even go for an agency?
Yeah, I would say it's going to depend. Most of the time you want an agent, because an agent is also going to be the one who helps you get the audition opportunities in the first place, so that you're not constantly going out to studios saying, please send me auditions, please send me auditions. They'll usually go to the agencies first. That's also where some of the bigger projects tend to go. So like Disney, Warner Brothers, Nickelodeon, they're going to agencies first. So if you're not in with one of those are auditions that you're missing out on. I would say, first of all, make sure that your training is there, that you're really ready to like make a demo reel in the first place. Meaning if you're taking lessons from somebody, they're not just saying, hey, at the end of this course, we're going to make a demo reel for you. Don't go near those people. You want somebody who's going to tell you when you're ready to make a demo reel, and then you do that, and then you start sending that out to agencies. But until then, you probably don't want to waste your time, because if it's like a big agency and they have tons of people sending them demo reels all the time, you don't want yours to get lost in the shuffle. So make sure that you're really ready from a performance perspective and a voiceover perspective.
Well, thank you for that professional opinion.
Sure.
And just one last question here is, when you're going out in those fields and you're trying to get those resources and building those network, do you feel like you've made a mistake because you've taken this advice and that you could go back and maybe change that advice? Do you think there's anything that you could provide for some of the younger folks on help prevent those risks to proceed that might kind of help them focus on this versus that?
Okay, let's see. Well, first of all, if you're going to take voiceover advice from anybody, there's a couple of questions you want to ask yourself, and it's like the simple common sense ones. Do I know who this person is? If the answer is no, okay, look them up, because maybe you just don't know their name, but you know all of the roles they've played. If you look them up and you still don't know who they are, then say like, okay, well, what are their testimonials like? Do they have people saying, I worked with this person and they're fantastic? And if so, do you know the people whose testimonials they have? Because if it's a bunch of people you've also never heard of claiming that this person you've also never heard of is great, at this point you want to stop and say, I shouldn't spend my money on this person, because they haven't passed those little checkpoints. Because what you don't want to do is spend your time learning from somebody who actually doesn't themselves really know what they're doing. And sometimes you'll have people who are students of another actor who learned a very, very surface level lesson, and then they'll turn around and present it as their own information. And then you try to ask them for further details, and they can't give you any of those details because they don't really know what they're doing. So make sure that don't take any wooden nickels. Make sure that like you're always like, do your research on whoever you're going to for advice, because that kind of helps you avoid a lot of those pitfalls.
Well, thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. And that'll be it for today. Okay. So thank you again.
Thank you.
And if you have any questions or concerns, go ahead and just visit our website. And this is Colton from Voice Actor. Thank you so much.